Hello and welcome to Higher Ed Live, the live weekly web show all about the world of higher education. I am your host, Seth Odell, coming to you live as always from the Mill Yard, SNHU, Southern New Hampshire University in Manchester, New Hampshire. If you guys are ever up this way, stop in, say hello. I will give you a tour and hang out, maybe grab a bite or something. So let me know if you guys are up this way. And in the meantime, let's dive right into today's show. It is a solo show, just me holding it down, so I'm relying on you guys. I'm going to be putting the tweets up. I'm going to be asking you what's going on, what's on your mind, what are the questions. We are talking today about web video in higher education. It's a topic that you guys know is close to my heart, but I have a feeling it's probably close to yours as well, and something that a lot of us are doing. But the question we have to ask is it really paying off? Is what we're doing making a difference in our bottom line? And should it be? What should we be focusing on? What should it look like? That's the topic today. And first, before we dive right into that, I'm going to say a quick thank you to the sponsors that make Higher Ed Live possible each and every week. Higher Ed Live is sponsored by the amazing team over at Integral. They're the creators of the Schools app on Facebook. Definitely check out their latest white paper, Recruiting International Students with Social Media, to learn how to use social media to improve international student yield and retention. Check it out for international student yield and retention. Tongue twister of a day. Moving on, we are also sponsored by Scavenger, a Google-funded mobile game about going places, doing challenges, and even earning points. Check out a great blog that's going out right now on the Twitter stream about a PR class that's using Scavenger to enliven Baton Rouge and the community around. It's a pretty cool subject matter. Check out that post. And finally, big shout out to our other sponsors, Omni Update. They're the leading web content management system CMS provider for higher education. The company's web CMS LU campus is secure, scalable, with great tools and features, deployment flexibility, and an awesome user community. In fact, it was even the highest ranked CMS in customer satisfaction in 2010, 2011 EDU survey. So guys, if you guys need a CMS, I said it out there on Twitter, but I'll say it again. Don't you dare go get a new CMS without checking out Omni Update first. As I said, I am your host, Seth Odell. I am flying solo today. But I know I'm not alone. I know you're tuning in with me. We're talking all about web video. And guess what, guys? No weekly 5, no unsolicited shout out. 1 hour right now, gonna dive straight in. I got no water, got no coffee. All I got is passion for the subject and an opportunity to talk with you guys about it. So that's what I'm gonna try and do. It's been a busy week at SNHU. I'll actually talk about one of the projects going into this, but I did not have a chance to keep up with the news enough. I will shout out, obviously, if you haven't kept up with edX, the news about Harvard, MIT merging to do massive open online courses, MOOCs. We talked about it a couple weeks ago with Audrey Waters. Guys, that's a huge, huge news. Obviously, here at SNHU, we are in the distance learning game. We care about making education accessible and affordable, so that's a subject matter that we are following closely. But if you missed that story, check it out. But other than that, hit the Twitter stream. Let me know if there are any stories going out there. And let me know, because again, as always, I'm going to pull them up. I'm going to show off your tweets as best we can, and I definitely want to see it. And I'm really excited, by the way, totally there's going to be a lot of different uses of video that we are going to be talking about today. So you're right, not just recruitment. Now I will say we're probably going to start with recruitment, but that's not all we're going to talk about. And we're definitely going to talk about donor relations. I did some cool stuff with donor relations back at UCLA. We're going to dive into that as well. So let's start right off the bat, guys. Let's set the stage. I'm going to ask some questions. And obviously, we don't need to talk about this, but where's online video today? It's all over the map. It is growing. 60 hours of video uploaded to YouTube every minute. It's the fastest growing ad format in 2012. That's important to me. I think that's the kind of thing you got to keep an eye on. And of course, guys, YouTube's second largest search engine. People are using it. But really, what I want to know is, where is online video in EDU if we know that web video has been taking off? Well, the last few years obviously saw a land grab for YouTube real estate. I'm sure your institution jumped on it back in probably, 08, 09, 10. You guys probably jumped on YouTube. You set up channels. You made stuff happen. And definitely, you guys got in there, set up your channels, made your thing happen. But then what happened next, right? What happened next over the last few years is that we increased in-house resources at most institutions. Maybe not yours, but most. Most folks either hired a video team or had someone learn to do video, like myself back in the day at UCLA. Just picked up a camera, kind of retaught myself because I shot in college, got into it. But also increase in resources as far as outsourcing. It's been growing. And as such, including with the resources of the last few years, what we've seen in the past 5 years is we're all video producers now. All of our institutions, whether they're really high-end stuff or it's flip camera, cell phone, whatever it is, we're all producing web content and web video content. And that's important to note because it wasn't just get the channels out there. The last 5 years, we've seen a lot of videos. Lots of institutions having thousands and thousands of videos out there on YouTube. So it brings up the question, which is, what the heck has it gotten us? What has web video gotten us if for the past 5 years we've been churning out content like crazy? What has it gotten? Well, if you ask me, this is my opinion, jump in if you disagree, the back channel's going up. One, it's gotten us not a whole lot of viewership. Now, there's 3 institutions here. I pulled them at random. I got no ill will towards them at all. I'm telling you right now, you'll see this across the board, so no hate in my game. But for instance, low viewership. Seton Hall has only 3 videos over 10,000 views and a whopping 485 with less than 10,000. UCLA has 88 videos with over 10,000 views. It's got 2,500 with less than 10,000. And Dartmouth has 29 videos with 10,000 and almost 900 with less than 10,000 views. So that is pretty interesting, low viewership if you ask me. I'm talking in a minute about what that means and why. But what else has it gotten us that's a little bit low? This is the whopper, engagement. A whole lot of videos with no likes and no shares. And not really the two-way social experience that we kind of walk around saying YouTube really is. A lot of times it's a little bit of a one-way broadcast medium, not a lot of viewership, and not a lot of people commenting, sharing, liking, or doing a whole lot with the content once they find it. Now, it's not all about views. I hear you guys out there saying this in the back channel, and I am with you 100% because it's not. But I have a couple questions, and the first one is an online video which lacks engagement or sharing that different than a traditional article printed in a newspaper? So I'll say that again. Is a video that you put out on your YouTube channel that doesn't have engagement, that's just people watching it, nobody commenting, nobody sharing, nobody doing anything social with it, is it that different than an article in a newspaper where somebody reads it but they can't really engage with it, right? I mean, I would say it doesn't seem that different as far as it's the same idea. Someone is consuming information that you're providing, but they're obviously not able to contribute back and have a social conversation, right? So what else does that mean then? Well, your YouTube video might have 10,000 views, and we may say that's great, but every single LA Times article gets 500,000 views a day. So think about this for a second. If a YouTube video doesn't have a lot of engagement, what is a view worth, right? And what is it different than a newspaper article? Because that's what we're talking about. LA Times articles get 500,000 views every day. Your YouTube video might have 10,000. But how many people are engaging? Because that's the difference with web video that gets really special. And if we measured higher ed marketing on an even playing field, is it even worth the money at all? And I know what you're thinking. You're like, what is Seth saying right now? It's just what he does for a living. He's kind of cutting himself off at the knees. I know, but it's an important question to ask. Is web video worth the money? Because at the end of the day, if you can get in front of 10,000 people and not engage them, how different is that than 500,000 people in a traditional media relations office? And there's some great questions coming up already in the back channel. Great point. Mike saying, well, except you are controlling the message, certainly. The difference between that and media relations, you are definitely being able to control the content. But I want to know, and okay, Patrick Powers, can someone feel engaged with the video without liking or commenting on it? Yes, I think if they are the recipient of someone else socially engaging with it. So if somebody shares a video on Facebook and then they see it, yes. But otherwise, if they're just seeing it on YouTube, I would say no. It's the same thing as browsing and reading an article online, I think. And the reality is that, okay, we got a lot of things in back channels. So engagement isn't everything going on back channel. Totally agree. But engagement, I believe, is what makes web video very powerful. But let's move on and talk about that, because it does get a bit more complicated. It's exactly what you guys are asking. You have to ask, what is a view really worth? What does a view mean? And how do we measure success of our online marketing efforts? So again, is it engagement or is it views? What is it that we're trying to measure? Because at the end of the day, we obviously have to have a goal. We have to be trying to accomplish something. We have to know how we're going to measure ourselves getting there. That's, I think, a common ground that we can all agree upon. So then how do we actually do that, right? Well, let's go ahead and ask some questions. So first off, is video marketing EDU broken? No, I'm not trying to be negative on this thing at all today. I'm not going to be saying it's broken. It's not. But posting videos to YouTube just because, it's not a strategy. And unfortunately, I think a lot of us are, sometimes just putting video content up just because. And I'm not sure that's a realistic use of our resources. And a successful online video and EDU it's still being built. What it really looks like is the kind of conversation we're going to have today, which is exactly what's going on in the back channel right now. Great stuff going on. Let's talking about what's the real value in this. Patrick Powers, again, the value of engagement. It's all up to you and your goals. Totally agree. And that's the kind of thing we're going to talk about today. And we're going to move into that conversation. So what does video marketing need to be? What are the kind of core concepts that maybe we can agree upon and make a point that this moves forward? So things that I think, for instance, video marketing should be is strategic, targeted, goal-oriented, and measurable. And this isn't about video marketing. This is about any approach that you're doing in marketing in general, obviously. Are you being strategic? Do you know what you're doing and wasting your time? Are you targeting it to a specific goal? Is it goal-oriented? Is it measurable? Those are just some common things that I think are important. And those are mine. If you guys have your own thoughts, again, I'm going to pull them up and share them. But I just want to say, what are the common grounds of things that you think are really important? And I think that's definitely something's going on. Great questions about production value. We're going to hit on all of that in just a minute. So first thing I want to talk about, is something that I don't hear talked about all that often with web video. Excuse me. And I really think that it should be talked about a lot, and that's content discovery. So with web video, one of the interesting things is there's really only 3 forms of content discovery. And in my opinion, it's important for you to understand where you want those content discovery paths to be before you start. So what am I talking about really? The first one is delivered, which means you have someone who's going to watch your video and that content is delivered to them. Whether it's in an email, delivered in the sense that they go to your website and the website presents the content to them, but someone, some person, something is presenting the content directly to somebody. They're going to a website, the content is there. They're getting an email, they're getting it sent to them. That's delivered to them. The content is coming to them essentially. Now the next one is passive search. And this is really what I think is the most awesome use of web video. And passive search is the term that I use to say that someone is searching for something actively, but they're not searching for you actively. What do I mean by that? Just a simple example is someone searches President Obama foreign policy and it comes up with a speech at Dartmouth. And it's essentially saying President Obama talking at Dartmouth. Now that person was looking for President Obama, but they weren't looking for a Dartmouth video. But that Dartmouth video is there. So it's a passive in the sense that they're not looking for your institution, but they're looking for something else and they can find you. That's a really interesting approach. And then the last one is active search, which means obviously someone's searching for you or your institution specifically. And it's definitely, so someone's searching, again, Dartmouth, at President Obama speaking at Dartmouth. That's active search. So you have delivered, passive search, and active search. And as Patrick Power's saying in the back channel, couldn't agree more, my friend. Passive search, incredibly underutilized strategy in video marketing today. We're going to be talking about that. And so what are we talking about, right? Let's spotlight some success and best practices, and here's why. This is a growing, moving field, and it is not concrete, set in stone. What I'm saying right now is my own opinion, having been working in this industry for a long time, but you guys might not agree. And again, that's why I'm throwing up Twitter, because I want you guys to have your thoughts out there, because Lord knows I don't know everything, and this is an ongoing, growing conversation. So again, what I want to do today is share what I think are cool examples of success stories, and the reason is because as we're defining what web video is and how it should be used in higher ed, we can at least start to point to examples where we go, you know what, that's working. That works. And then we can start talking about why does it work? How is it being applied to their goals? How is it being strategic? And we can maybe kind of come away with this framework of, okay, this is the kind of way web video should be looking in higher ed. And again, please, guys, keep the back channel going. I'm trying to keep up. It's a little tough to read and talk, but I'm doing my darndest. Do not slow down. So, again, let's spotlight some best practices. I want to get some ideas from you. The first one, we are going to start with recruitment. Why? Because at the end of the day, if money is involved, it's really easy to be pretty tangible with what you're doing. So, first example is campus tours. As you all know, campus tours are incredibly valuable to institutions. Folks that come on a campus tour apply and yield and enroll at a way higher rate than the folks that don't. And there are really cool things that you can do. In 2012, you don't need to come to an institution to actually get a campus tour. So, this is just one that I know Mallory Wood did back in the day at St. Mike's. She did a choose your own adventure style tour. So you could not only come and get a tour online, but instead of watching a 40-minute video, you could actually choose the destinations that you wanted to go, both by physical destinations, but by programs. Totally self-navigable, which I think is really cool. And it's the same thing down there. There's also a map from New Clouds. It's the idea that laying out your content, whether it's based by program, based by human interest, based by geographic location, but allowing your audience to self-navigate. I think this is a really, really powerful use of web video, again, because it's actually, in my opinion, on some levels, making the in-person experience not even as exciting as online. In the sense that you could go online, you could get an hour-long tour in 5 minutes because you're only seeing what you really want. Literally, you could go and see, oh, here's the engineering building. I don't care about that, but we're passing the sports complex. I play field hockey. I can click in and watch a field hockey video. That's the kind of stuff that can instantly allow people to navigate themselves, find the content they want quickly. And the reality is this is really easy to do these days. You can patch this together pretty much on your own, even if you don't know a lot about web programming, whether it's with YouTube annotations, throwing it in a website, using a map like a New Cloud or a Google map. It's just a really common approach, and some institutions are doing a really cool job of it that I think are really cool. And I think it's interesting. So we got back channel comment. The problem with video campus tours are unengaging virtual tour guide, scripted. I think that's definitely partially true. You do have an issue that you don't have a direct tour guide in the same sense that you do online, but I definitely think that you can make up for that by being really convenient and still having folks talk on video. Because the reality is, in my opinion, I've only been on a few campus tours, probably a handful. Unless you're interrupting the tour guide, a lot of times they're not always that engaging either. Now, sometimes they are. Some places have it nailed down. And we got another one going out, Suffolk's virtual tour. Definitely get on that. Check it out. But I think this is just one example that really works. Now, moving that a step farther, this is one that I love, is video for admissions is open houses. Now you guys, again, open houses convert at a really high rate, and virtual open houses are a really easy way to let folks to land on your website and get all the content they want, whether it's financial aid, application information, program, curriculum information, or anything else. And here's just one example. There's a ton out there that I think is really interesting, and I think that it just definitely works really well. I mean, literally, I just got off. We were doing a really cool open house here at SNHU that I was just tuning in on our higher up segment leaders were putting together. Really great work by them. This is just a lot of cool examples. Again, and why do I love this? It's on demand, one, and it's self-navigable. So yes, you lose some things by not having it in person, but again, think about this. In 2012, you're going to make somebody get in a car, drive to your campus, especially if they're from far away, and then sit in a room and be talked to just to get the information they want. I don't think that makes sense anymore. That should definitely be an option, especially folks that want to come and have that personal contact. But there's no reason why you can't go online these days with web video. Quickly click campus life, dormitories, sports, and click through and get a full experience, and click through academic programs and get an open house experience totally online with pre-recorded videos. It's possible, and folks are doing it. And I think it's a really great example of web video being done right. And I think that's definitely a cool one. I saw one comment in the channel. Let me just see if I can pull this one back up. In fact, I think it's gone, but I think Laura said something about live streaming campus tour. It can be done. I will put that out there. You can live stream a campus tour. I've been talking, I tested some stuff out back in the day at UCLA. Essentially, you take a 3G card, hook up a laptop. You don't even need a laptop if you use live stream. They have the new sit on top live streaming pack. But if you did throw in a laptop, shut the lid, let the programs keep running, throw it in the backpack with a camera, you can live stream a campus tour. And that's a pretty cool thing. You can live stream the current tours you're doing now with one person. Stuff like that's possible, and it's a cool example of utilizing video to increase more people coming on tour. Again, though, why? Because let's say 80% of the people that come on tour convert and become students. Well, what if you can increase the amount of people that can go on a tour without increasing the number of tour guides? Just through the use of web video, you'd be able to increase more students, increase more applications, and increase the bottom line. So that's another reason why I think starting with recruitment makes sense, because when money's involved, it's pretty cool stuff. And also, so video for admissions, finally, Syracuse did a cool thing where they did a semi-targeted video here where they essentially sent out a message to students trying to encourage them to come. This was targeting, I do believe it was targeting summer melt. So this was students that were already accepted, that they didn't want them to turn down the opportunity to come. Summer melt, if you're not familiar with the term, is basically when a student is accepted and they enroll, and then before they actually start, they drop out. That's melt. And a lot of students have melt issues. Everybody does to some extent. So they use this targeted video to send personalized messages. So they recorded a generic message, and it was from, I think it was the founder of Foursquare and somebody else. And then they recorded intros. So it was like, hi, John, hi, Sue. And you could get this video from a famous alum telling you, I really want you to go to this program. And, honestly, we don't have the numbers Syracuse didn't put out if, melt was lower or higher that year. We don't have any feedback. But I think it's a cool example of where they're using video to target a very specific stage in the funnel. I mean, very specific. Summer melt, we're talking about someone who's already all the way through and using video to target one specific spot. So I think that's pretty cool stuff if you ask me. But obviously, that's not the only one we got, because let's talk about branding for a second. Branding, and I'll pull up the back channels while I'm talking here for a second. Branding is like the biggest section for web video and higher ed, essentially. It's kind of the big banner that we stamp on all the content that we do. And it's, because a lot of times we'll just put this out there because it's good content, we want our name attached to it. Which, hey, nothing wrong with that, mind you. I'm not going to step out and say there's anything wrong with that at all. But branding in video is also another one where how do you measure it, how do you make a difference? And again, I think when it comes to branding, it just comes down to being really strategic. And I think it's really, really interesting. And I think you can make really big moves in branding your institution if you're more targeted than just saying, let's throw out content and call that branding. Let's be strategic. So what are some examples? I'm going to share some of my own examples here, guys. It's not because I think I'm the coolest, although it's entirely possible. The reality is, though, I just know my experience is the best. But I'm following the back channel. Please keep pushing your tweets out. We're going to archive all of it. I want to see your examples. I'm sharing other people's examples here too. But again, I'm leaning a lot heavily, kind of crutch on my experience just because I know what my thought process was behind it. But that's not to say that I know what's going on and you don't. I want to see what you guys have going on. So keep the back channel moving. And I'm going to try to archive all of it, maybe even pull them out, embed them into posts, do what we can do. So let's dive right in and see one. Okay, at UCLA, I was approached with saying, what? Can we brand UCLA as being very supportive of veterans? It was very important to our chancellor that we know that that everyone else knew we were supportive of veteran services. And so the goal was increase awareness of UCLA's support of veterans. So how did we do that? Well, we decided to focus on two things, passive and delivered content. and the results were 100,000 views on YouTube. Now, what does this really mean? Well, basically what happened is before Veterans Day, by a couple weeks, I went out to campus and I shot a video with wounded warriors that were invited to come to campus and utilize our adaptive recreation facilities. So, UCLA, hats off to them. They have great adaptive rec facilities for folks that are, wheelchair bound or have other disabilities or other challenges. They have great athletic facilities so they can still be active and healthy, which is a really important part of folks recovering, especially, if they've been wounded in war, for instance. So we invited a whole bunch of wounded warriors out to campus to play basketball, do some other things, and I went and shot a video. And it was a couple weeks before Veterans Day. So we shot the whole video, we packaged it up, and about a week before that, I reached out to the folks at YouTube that I knew and really pushed them and said, can you feature us? Do you guys want to share this video? And make it a part of your Veterans Day spread, because I assumed correctly that they would have a spread on Veterans Day. Now, off the bat, I know you're probably saying, hold up, you just contacted the people at YouTube? That's not that easy to do. You're right. It's not that easy to do anymore. It's harder and harder as they grow and grow, and as YouTube EDU becomes less and less about us and more about shared open content. But back in the day, you could just email an editor at YouTube and chat with them, and that's what we did. So what happened was on Veterans Day, on the homepage of YouTube, for about 4 hours, we had a big spread, half above the fold, only half, but I'll take it. And it said, YouTube salutes UCLA's support of veteran services. And then it had the video. And it was all about how we just allowed these wounded warriors to come to campus totally for free and utilize our facilities. Got 100,000 plus views in that day. And that was discovery. Again, why? Because YouTube was providing it. Folks went to youtube.com and they got the video. But the great part is, and then we got tens of thousands of views after that were totally passive. Folks that were searching for veterans issues, veteran supports, adaptive recreation for veterans, all those long-tail keywords on YouTube, and they were finding this video now. That was great, because what happens is people that were interested in veterans issues and were searching it online would find out about UCLA's veterans support, even though they didn't know UCLA had it. So it was totally passive, but that's where branding was powerful. We found folks that we know they care about veterans issues, and we want them to know that we care about veterans issues, and we found a way to utilize web video so that when they searched for content, they found us, were engaged, and were excited about what we were doing. So that's passive discovery, passive search discovery for branding. And let's move on to some other ideas, because there's a whole lot more in the branding category. SEO is a big one. Folks forget a lot of times that YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. So what are you doing for SEO specifically with video? That's a question I have, because again, what discovery, it's passive and active. Certainly folks are searching your name, but they also might be searching other keywords or terms that you want associated with your institution. This is no different than Google, guys. Obviously, it's, if you want to be known for someone that offers a certain degree program or has certain facilities, certain support, or anything else, people are searching for that online, and this is the second largest search engine in the world. So specifically, YouTube for SEO is another thing you can work on, and it's a little bit more than just your title. It's about putting on lots of content around certain subject matters, obviously titling it correctly. File name is huge. File name is huge, guys, for SEO, but it's a big thing to try. And I've done a lot of video campaigns where specifically our goal was, okay, let's make an SEO video campaign. So when folks search for things, they find us. And a lot of times it's passive search. When folks are searching for something but don't know about us, we want to pull them into the conversation. So that's one of the things I'm asking. Obviously, what are we doing with video for SEO? It's a big one to work on. Again, file name is huge, but I will say this, and I will say this to only you guys. File name is not as big as it was 2 weeks ago. YouTube changed the algorithm. They recrawled a bunch of videos, and they're changing the way they weight the file name. Probably because they realized that some people out there were gaming the system by naming their file names totally weird things just so they'd come up first. So unfortunately, they weighted that down. It's not eliminated entirely, but I did see, a big hit. Most of my videos dropped, probably almost off the entire page where they were, down about 10 to 20 spots overnight when Google changed some of the algorithm. But it doesn't mean they changed it entirely. It's still coming up, and I'll get back there. I'll game you. It's just a little love, hate, tick, that, push, shove, me and YouTube, but we're going to figure it out. But again, file name is still big, still worth trying, still worth making it happen. Again, with branding, it's not just about web video. We're talking about web video today, but it's all about live streaming, because this overlaps, obviously. You guys know I'm all about live streaming. Heck, we're watching a live streamed show right now, live on the internet. One of the best examples, period, is University of North Texas College of Music. They're a world-class performance institution, and they wanted everyone to know. And they said, how can we separate ourselves from our competition? And the best way they thought they could do that is, let's start live streaming all of our concerts. Let's put our money where our mouth is and let folks see how really, really good we actually are. Well, every single semester they're streaming over 30 different concerts, and they're getting over 100,000 views per semester. And they're, again, not only getting views, but they're getting amazing stories as a result. I'm talking about prospective students in a chat room, and then students at the concert responding on the Ustream app saying, you should come here, it's a great institution. They have so many anecdotes like that. I've talked about it before in Higher Ed Live, but talk about branding. Saying, okay, we want everyone to know us as a world-class performance institution. Let's put on world-class performances online for free every single time. 4 to 5 a week at some points. Really, really impressive stuff. And it's definitely pretty powerful. So what are some other ones that make sense with branding? I just want to bring this one up really quick too. SNHU recently, we had the author Gregory McGuire come to campus. He wrote Wicked. You guys might be familiar. He wrote a bunch of other books too. Saw that you might have seen the play. Really good stuff. Anyways, we said, how can we do a term I call brand bridging and building, which is how can we connect somebody that's powerful in a certain industry or arena and connect them to our brand and overlap them a little bit, dip into their audience and share it with ours. So he came to campus, and what we did was, this is a really modest example, and I think it's important to share that, is we live streamed his talk. So we had about 83 live viewers, 72 social shares, which is a pretty good engagement rate. We had allowed people to submit questions before the event. We had 7 questions submitted before, and then we actually included. So let me back up for a second and explain this. So he came to campus and he did a talk and we live streamed it. Cool, people watched it, right? HarperCollins, they shared it with all their fans on Twitter. Very cool. Why did they share it? We asked them to. Really easy. If you ever want anything on social media, just ask brands, hey, I want to share this. A lot of times people do. Same way I got featured on the Ustream homepage one time and said, I want to feature this. So he was coming to campus and we live streamed it, right? People were able to watch it. Our online students were able to watch it. Our on-campus students could watch it. And we obviously have the archive online forever. But on top of that, we interviewed him before the event. And we allowed him to answer questions that came in from Facebook. So we posted on Facebook and said, you guys want to be writers? Because this was for a writing group. Said, submit your questions to Gregory McGuire and let us know. So they submitted it through a form that then shared those questions with all of their friends and family, obviously, using the Facebook comments feature. And then I asked him all those questions. We created a video that was him answering user-submitted questions. Really simple, allowed folks to share out with their audiences, feel like they could get engaged directly with really a celebrity in their field, and make it feel like SNHU was in between that. So here's someone who loves writing, here's this famous author, and here's us in between. Brand bridging. So that's kind of the simple thing that we did. On top of that, I shot him answering some questions that we're now including in curriculum at SNHU. So starting next term, if you're taking some of our online writing classes, it's going to be like, this week's assignment is to explore this. Click this video and watch this famous author answering your homework question, essentially, and sharing his insights on it. So it's really cool, interesting things. That's the kind of stuff you can do with web video. All of this came about just simply by having him come talk on campus. And on top of that, we broke out 3 other videos online of him talking about Wicked, doing passive search techniques where someone's typing in Wicked, Wizard of Oz, and it comes up with the video from us of him talking about it. So we really wrapped in on, I think it was 8 or 9 videos from this one experience of one person coming to campus, and we had 83 live stream viewers shared all over the place. One event, a lot of different uses of video. So just another example, a little more modest, but anybody can do that stuff. Anybody really can. And again, branding and media relations is a huge one. I did this a lot at UCLA. Topics in the news, people search this stuff like crazy. A simple example of ones where I again got featured on the YouTube homepage and this time didn't ask was just Obama's first 100 days. You know it's going to be a topic, so we shoot a video and we post it 2 days before. Think about having an editorial calendar of things that are coming up down the line, and essentially you post the video a couple days beforehand. People are searching for that news topic. You can also rush out when there's breaking news. If there's a major natural disaster somewhere in the world, you could interview a scientist who can talk about why it happened or offer information. Post it on YouTube. Same day. Got to do quick turnaround stuff. You can get a lot of views. This is one of the big reasons why in my first 3 years at UCLA, I shot over 300 videos and got hundreds of thousands of views. I think not quite 1 million myself on those videos, but why was because we kept putting out all that content very, very quickly. People were searching for it, they'd search for it, and they'd find it. Quick turnaround on stuff that people are searching for. Now let's talk about development. I know somebody hit up the back channel earlier. I'm still keeping an eye on the back channel, guys, so don't slow down. I'm trying to read it. Reading while talking is actually possible, but barely. But let's talk about development, because somebody brought it up earlier. Development's a great point where you can really show how video can support donor relations, asking for money. Here's just one example of a solicitation support. This one was done, I believe this is a USC video, but correct me if I'm wrong. It's slipping my mind at the moment, but it's a basic one saying you have a solicitation request. So a lot of times you just go out via email, maybe on a website, maybe a phone call. But you can follow up again with an email or push them to a website with a video. And why? Because this is the one thing we haven't mentioned yet, but video is really emotional, obviously. We all know that, so are still photos, but a lot of times a video can convey a lot more than the written word can. And when it comes to asking for money, a lot of times it's about demonstrating what the money does. This is easily measurable. People hit on the site. Do they give? Do they not? You can do A/B testing. Half people see the video, half don't. But again, in my opinion, you don't need to do that. Put the video up. It's not going to hurt. It's only going to help. Now, to bring up an extreme example outside of higher ed, I think it's important. I don't know if you guys have ever seen these videos online. Let me know if you have. They're animal rescue videos, essentially. And it's really kind of interesting. It's essentially solicitation support. This video specifically, some folks went to rescue a dog, and they shot themselves rescuing the dog, and they posted it online, and they posted the dog recovering, and then they posted at the end, take donations to help them rescue more animals. And it's gotten millions of views, covered in the Huffington Post. And really, what does that mean? What's the lesson there? The lesson is that people want to give where they know where the difference is being made. They just want to feel like they're contributing. And again, going in the back channel, again, don't just solicit it, keep donors informed with quick custom videos just for them. I'm going to talk about custom videos in just a second, but I totally agree. It's about keeping them informed. Where is the money going? What's happening? What's being done? If they can see change, they'll support change. I think that's one area that higher ed can learn a lot from. A lot of times you do just see these wrapped, really polished, super expensive donor videos that get stamped on one website, but showing somebody that their money is making a difference can really make a big change. And there's some examples of that. So let me jump ahead for 1 second and pull up this one. Just at UCLA, sometimes one view is all that matters. Last job, just before I left, we got a $100 million donation from a beautiful and wonderful man named Meyer Luskin. Really, just an absolute joy to even meet him. Gave a 9-figure gift to UCLA, half of which went specifically to the School of Public Affairs where I was working, which was then renamed in his honor. So we recorded a video, set it to music of all of our students thanking him specifically for the support. We emailed it to him, he watched it, and he loved it. So guess what? That was one view, but that's all that mattered, right? Talk about a life-changing gift for so many students, and taking the time to say thank you in a special way, getting them all together. He absolutely loved it. It was just really a special way to be able to say thank you and to be able to put that out there. That said, donor relations don't always have to be just really emotional and serious. I gotta just do a quick hats off to Bowling Green State University's gift announcement video. Long story short, Bowling Green State University got a lot of money from some old white dudes. So check that box for the same donor story every single day from every institution. So how do you increase awareness if you're in the communications or marketing or media relations office and you're told, support this? And it's like the latest headline, old white dude gives college money. Not really news a lot of times, unfortunately. Well, they put together a hilarious and amazing rap from students essentially talking about the money, where it was going. And it got me to watch the whole thing, and not only was it really entertaining, but actually listen to where's the money going, what's it going to be used for. Just really, really out of the box clever. Whether or not you're going to have a donor that wants a rap in their name or whether or not you can pull it off, geez, I don't know. I would not want that assignment myself. But I got to say hats off. They found a cool way to use video to do something totally different that I had never seen before. And then again, the biggest one is testimonials, guys. Testimonials are the best performing video for direct response advertising if you're in that space at all. I know a lot of folks aren't in the DR space, but if you are, it's best performing. It's important to ask why, right? And I think that it's really because people care. They want to see success. They want to see the stories. They want to see outcomes. And you can demonstrate that really powerfully with videos. So the thing is, though, when it comes to testimonials, you have to ask a question, which is professional or user submitted. We always talk about quality. Do you want to shoot it yourself? Do you want to let people submit their own? Well, interesting study came out just like 3 weeks ago, and it said, it was from ComScore, and it found that professional and user-submitted videos perform significantly higher when coupled within a single campaign. So ComScore found, let me just repeat that, essentially that if you were doing a marketing campaign on any level and you were going to utilize video, rather than utilizing professional video or utilizing user-submitted videos, combining the two would make the campaign outperform either independently. Now, I love this stat not only because it's cool, because this is something I've believed in for a long time, but haven't been backed up. So let me show you a site that we just launched. What day is today? Thursday? We launched this on Tuesday. It's called Snhu Stories, or SNHU Stories. Snhu is kind of the internal name, but you guys can use it too. SNHUstories.com is a website that we just, again, launched less than 48 hours ago. And it's a site that couples professionally produced videos by myself and some other videographers that we work with, and then user-submitted videos as well. It positions all the videos all over a map with different pins. You can browse the entire globe, click and listen to a testimonial. You can share each individual testimonial, and you can click a button and very quickly and easily upload and share your own. And the site will actually turn on your webcam for you and let you submit your own instantly. And then guess what? You get a coupon code, you get a free t-shirt, a whole combination of things. So we have just shy of 50 videos up on the site so far. We're flying through, trying to edit the ones that are coming in, make it happen. Not trying to, again, knock this as being that amazing, but just saying, this is a kind of thing I think where video is moving, which is coupling professional and user-submitted and creating communities and really engaging interactive campaigns. So again, check out Snhu Stories. I'd love your feedback, if nothing else. Question coming in, how much editing occurs with Snhu Stories? Wondering about resources. Definitely a great question. The answer is as little as possible. Folks submit a video, I check out the video, I edit it only for time if I need to, or if there's a big gap or fumble, but whatever they say, pretty much this is your story. I'm not going to edit out what you think. I throw a watermark on it, and then I compress it, post it to YouTube. So we're looking at probably half hour, 40 minutes per video, but it's not time that I'm tied up either. It's not a lot of you're compressing a video, you can do other things. You just might not be able to use Photoshop or Final Cut. Some software applications might be tied up in your machine. But 30 to 40 minutes per video, but at the same time, how useful is that? Because user-submitted videos, in my opinion, are the most powerful thing out there. When you can hear someone else say, I believe in this, I stamped this, has changed my life. I put in as much time as I need to get that kind of content. Patrick Power says, do you have them sign releases? You betcha, buddy. There's a terms of service. You got to check that box if you want that t-shirt and to submit that video. Absolutely. So we get a full release sign. We can utilize those videos however we'd like. Of course, we're going to utilize them in a respectful, professional manner. We want our folks to be celebrated. We don't not exploited, obviously. But yes, we have them sign it so we can go ahead and use it. We can share it in a few other different places. We can do things that we want to do with it. And it's definitely really kind of cool. So I suggest you guys check it out. And I really hope that you guys do. Question coming in, do you have issues not using .edu? No, the .com is kind of a complicated decision. Part of it was SEO related with link back, some other things. It was a long internal conversation. I have a feeling we'll move back to EDU eventually with the website, but for right now it was kind of a strategic decision to move it outside of the EDU if possible, which is what we did. So again, it's not just us. But at the end of the day, you might be wondering, like some folks, but probably not because you guys are smart ones, I know it, is where's the viral video, Seth? Where are the lip dubs and the flash mobs? I'm not going to sit here and hate all over lip dubs and flash mobs, even though I want to so badly. But I don't. I'm not going to hate on them because you know what? Sometimes they work, but the reality is this. Folks show me viral videos all the time, and I ask, what does that do for your goal or your bottom line? What's 100,000 views if it's not targeted? If it's for branding, but you don't really know who's watching it, you don't really know what message they're getting, I don't know. If your goal is just to entertain the world, that's fine, but at the end of the day, isn't that what MTV is for and E-Entertainment and TV shows? It's just entertaining. We're not comedy shows. Now that said, you should totally utilize comedy and have fun with web video. It's a really fun, amazing space. So I'm not knocking lip dubs and flash mobs and everything else entirely. I'm just saying, if you're going to put that kind of resources into a video, be strategic about it. Think about it. And there are some lip dubs and flash mobs out there that do that. Totally. There's totally some that do that. Again, I'm not trying to say none do, but I'm just saying, really think for a second about what you're doing and why. And then, so Petrov coming in with a great point saying, Lady Gaga lip dub got 1 million+ views and countless incoming students mentioned that as an influence. So exactly. So now you didn't get 1 million+ views for fun or cool. You got it because you're trying to demonstrate that realistically Emerson's hip to prospective students, which you guys do really well all the time. But that's what I would look at that. I would say, okay, Emerson, everybody's on Twitter at Emerson. They're really tied in. They're really tied into the web. Let's look hip by doing something really cool, pop culture related. That makes sense. I don't think everyone out there definitely does. But again, totally there are some. But why didn't I talk about it today? Because I just still think it's a little bit overhyped. I think it's worth doing if it's worth doing for your institution, but it's important to ask if it is at the end of the day. So the last big question then we're talking about is how do we actually measure success with these videos? And this is a question that can't really be answered directly. But to me, it starts with clear, identifiable goals. Again, whatever your goals are, if your goal is to be known as being hip, cool. That's a great goal to have. Whatever it is, understand your goals, track your views, and use YouTube Insights to better understand your audience, obviously. You can see what the age demographics are, who the kind of people are that are watching your videos. And then you can use Bitly and Google Strings to track traffic paths. And so basically what I'm meaning by that is, for instance, on a site like Snhu Stories, we can not only see where they're moving within the website with Google Analytics, we can see every touch point where they're coming back to snhu.edu. Within that, we can actually see which videos drive the most traffic. Not only that, we can see which videos from which geographical regions, which programs, male versus female videos. All that's being done with Google Strings. So we're adding on Google Strings to our website. As we're pushing traffic back from YouTube to ours, we're trafficking that. So again, if you're pushing traffic from YouTube, for instance, in the description field, and you're pushing them to your site, well, you could add a string to your URL. So instead of just a generic URL, you're actually being able to track, this is a comedy video. Let's perform if comedy videos drive more traffic than traditional videos. You can do all sorts of things with Google Strings. That's really fun and crazy and tiring, but it's interesting. Again, on the right, it's hard to see, but it's a traffic path. So it's saying all the different points that come into one place, where the people can go, and how they leave after that. You can see every point and kind of see where people move. It gets complicated, but it's interesting. You can do qualitative, quantitative surveys, test. Obviously, the reality is I don't think there's still an answer for how we measure. So my final takeaways, and then I want to throw it back and open it up for a minute, is when we talk about web video, we covered a whole lot of different things that kind of work, look, are cool, are different, are exciting. But it's not about changing what we shoot. It's about changing how we approach it. It's trying to stop the age-old, well, let's get a video for that story too, and not asking why. So it's not saying turn the cameras off, but it's saying before we hit record, let's really figure out what are we doing, why are we doing it, and then also utilize a video one sheet to identify goals, strategies, and resource requirements. So what is a video one sheet? Well, it's a term that I just totally made up. But what it is for me is I have a one sheet document that I say I'm not going to hit record and go shoot any video until we fill out this form together. It's really kind of like a creative brief of your experience with an agency setting. And essentially what it says is, what's the project? What's the goal? How are we going to measure if we reach that goal? What's the post-mortem conversation going to be like? When are we going to reach back 30 days, 60 days after and talk about its success? And we map all that out. And until we have those concrete fields filled in, I'm not going to hit record. And I'm not going to go out and shoot a video just because. Not until you tell me, this is the video, this is the goal, here's the strategy to promote the video. Until you tell me, oh, this is going to be mostly passive search or active search. We have that conversation. And it's not me saying I'm not going to go shoot video, but it's me saying I'm not going to waste my time. And so let's talk. Let's have this conversation first, because then I can deliver a better product and I can have a better strategy to get it out there. So a video one sheet, I really create it and make it a uniform rule, in my opinion, and say, we got to fill this form out before we shoot a video. It can't just be shoot it because. If you don't have a strategy for how to promote it or why you want to do it or what the goal is, then no, we're not going to send somebody out, because video takes a ton of time. People do not realize how much time video can take. Sure, you can do something quick and dirty, but a lot of times it's a serious investment of man hours or woman hours to edit videos together. So a one sheet is just something I definitely really advise. Repurpose, reuse, and recycle. So many times people shoot videos and they just leave them and they post them online and that's it. The final goal for a video should not be just to dump it onto YouTube and hope that the interwebs comes and gives it a hug. I mean, you have to really think, how can we repurpose this in any different way? With the Snhu Stories example, for instance, Snhu Stories as a site is incredibly important, but it goes beyond that. We're taking those assets, those videos, we're placing them on our website on different program pages. We're moving them into our communication plans when we're reaching out to students at different stages of the marketing funnel. So whether they're inquiry to app progress, app completion to enroll, enroll to pass melt, inquiry to enroll all the way. All those stages we can utilize video to support our efforts. But it's the same video. So once you shoot it once, use it 100 times. Find all the ways you can do it. Does your video work for development? Does it work for admissions? So many times in higher ed, people shoot great videos, and because we're siloed or organized and structured, yes, I know we are, that's fine, we don't tell other people. Definitely tell people. Development could use that video you shot. So you did the work once, and now 2 people are out there using it and sharing it. And admissions could use it, and student life, and other folks. So think about that. How could you reuse the content that you're producing as much as possible? I think that's really important. Mobile's coming fast, guys. At SNHU, our YouTube channel is increasing in mobile views 1% per month, month over month, for the past 7 months. We're up to, I think, 14.5% of all views on our YouTube channel are coming from a mobile device. That's a lot, and it's growing really, really fast. I mean, faster than most people realize. You need to think, when you're shooting video, you're not shooting all the time for a big screen. Even if you have a really nice HD camera, you're shooting for this. So think about, what does that mean? How is the user experience going to be? It's important things to think about. Simple things like graphics. Are your lower third where you put the name of somebody on, is that going to fit on a screen? Can you read it? Because if you can't, you're alienating 15% of your viewers off the bat. So mobile's coming fast in web video. It's a really exciting time. But it's important to really keep an eye on it, in my opinion. And then lastly, video marketing is somebody's job, but who? So what do I even mean by video marketing? Well, you have someone who produces videos, But then who actually markets the videos? And that's kind of, I feel like, where we've gotten stuck as an industry. And what I mean by that is, who's doing videos at your campus? A lot of times it might be a campus AV guy or somebody from marketing, but once they shoot it, is it also their job to promote it? Are you asking the same person to concept, produce, direct, shoot, edit a video, post it online, and then go promote it? Because so often folks invest in getting videos produced, but then no one's really in charge of marketing them. So who's going out there and doing it? So the answer is basically whose job is video marketing? It's whoever's job it needs to be. You know, it could be at your AV department, it could be at your marketing division, but someone has to be doing it. And that's actually, in my opinion, the conversation is not happening nearly enough. My first position at SNHU up until recently was video marketing manager, you know, doing that. I'm doing more than that now, doing integrated marketing stuff, but still, you know, who's in charge of that? It doesn't have to be someone's full-time role, but it's important to really think about who's learning and thinking about video marketing specifically. That's where a lot of people hit a gap. Folks that are taking off and really, you know, nailing it online, in my opinion, are folks that have good video marketing folks in their unit. Again, whether it's the same folks that are producing the video, or if it's somebody else that really understands online content, whoever it is, they're invested in thinking about what happens from posting it online to forward. You know, from once you've compressed it, where you put it, how you share it, who's thinking about that. That's the most important at the end of the day. If you put all that work in, you want to reach your goal, because the goal isn't just to dump a video onto YouTube and hope the world notices, because they're not. They're not if you're not thinking about it strategically. So folks are, and they're realizing that, and some great examples going out in higher ed, which, you know, again, we've been sharing, but it's important to think about. So those are my final thoughts. I want to know what yours are. I'm pulling up the tweet stream. I'm trying to catch my breath a little bit. But do you guys have any questions? What's going on in your world? What are your final thoughts or questions about web video? I am here. I want to know. This only been 47 minutes. I told you I would hit 50, and I'm like, oh gosh, I can't let them down. I gotta bring it. So let's see. I don't know. I'm gonna pull back through the back channel. So you guys probably already seen this, but you know, I'm still moving this. You know, we're pulling through, and we started a video producers working group at DePaul that shares a common drive via Adobe Bridge for B-roll. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's a really cool example. I like that a lot. And I think more and more people need to do that. You know, I'm kind of the only one left, but at SNHU doing video, really. But if you have more than one person doing it, totally go ahead. So Mayon says, how do I make videos viral? Mayon, don't ask me that. But okay, in all seriousness, it's definitely something I think worth mentioning. In all honesty, real quick, people say, I want this video to go viral. First off, I say, that's not a thing. So stop. You talking? That's what I tell them. That's usually what I tell them. But I will say this. If you want to talk about viral in reality, in my opinion, what viral really means is it means that the more people that watch it, the more that share it. So what I actually have, I do have a term that I call it, something has hit virality. And it means that for a certain moment in time, it's viral. So like we shared this Contra Code campaign at SNHU, not video related. We embedded the video game Contra onto our game design site. If you go to snhu.edu and you hit the Konami code, up, down, left, right, BA, on our homepage, it'll take you to a secret page where you can play Contra totally shadily on the SNHU website. So we put that out there, and you know, I shared it with the people that follow me on Twitter, and I put it on Facebook, and that was it. So I shared it to a certain number of people. Let's say I shared it with 500 people that might have actually reached and read it on Twitter. And then for a moment in time, we were driving in over 1,000. So what it meant is that for every one person that entered and experienced that, they shared it, and that sharing drove at least 1.1 or higher people, or 2 people, through the experience. And then that person shared it, and that drove at least 2 or more people through. And basically what it means is it's self-populating and self-trafficking. It's driving traffic itself. It only happens for a certain window in time, but in all honesty, that is what I think something going viral means. And at the end of the day, if you want my real opinion, that's all down to PR. That's about how you roll it out. You're not going to be viral forever. Viral is like this big, so how are you going to do it? You know, it's being strategic. You can try to do things like get on Reddit and stuff, but it's also about timing and old school PR. So, question coming in from the one and only Mike Petroff. Do you have an opinion on how academic content and videos should be positioned? Great opportunity for SEO? Absolutely. If there's any lesson to be learned from the Harvard and MIT's announcement yesterday for edX, which is going to be this online consortium of free open content, it's that transparency and access to quality content is going to be the future of education. It's going to be giving people what they want and to be able to let them easily access it. Video is incredibly powerful to do that. I think more and more institutions need to be putting up things, and not just long-form lectures, but lessons. Why does Khan Academy get all the praise when there are other examples of MIT's open source courseware that's been out for 10 years? The reason is because a lot of MIT stuff is 50-minute long lectures or longer, and a lot of times Khan Academy stuff might be 4 or 5 minutes. So can you consolidate information in a consumable manner? It's incredible for SEO. It's incredible for SEO. I don't even want to go into it more because I have a campaign I'm working on internally that's going to be launching soon, and I can't tip anybody off onto it because I don't want you to steal my idea. But I'll come back to that in a couple months and tell you what I did, because it's exactly what it is educational academic content online for SEO. It can be done. It will be done here. Just give me a couple months. So another question on SEO coming from the one and only Laura. It says, what SEO tools do you use when posting videos to YouTube? As far as tools, I actually don't use like tools. What I use for SEO with YouTube is managing the file name. So it's naming the file name something I want. I post it to YouTube, and I post it private, and I put no other information in. And I wait about 20 minutes for YouTube to crawl the video, and they crawl the video, and all the information I've given them is the file name. So they have to take the file name and weight it really high. And then after that, I fill in the information, and then I publish the video. And then I obviously have a rhythm to how I use your file names. You always want your institution's name to be in your file name every time if you want your institution to come up really high for you. So at the end of most titles, I should put comma SNHU for a title. Also in the file name, I put a numerical identifiable number system. So I have a number string about 8 numbers long that is at the end of every single SNHU video. And I do that so that way it's totally random, and no other videos on YouTube have that numerical string, so it's totally random. But when they do, all of ours come up as our own related videos. So at the end of a YouTube video, you see other related videos. Well, all of ours usually come up as the other related videos because I've put this very odd numerical code at the end of every file name that is in every SNHU video, but not anywhere else online, basically. So that's another thing I do with SEO. That's really pretty much it. And then just file name management, naming things a little bit better, but it's not really much more to do besides that. So with that, guys, I don't see any more questions or comments coming in exactly, but man, you guys tore up the back channel, which I'm incredibly grateful for. I really do appreciate it. So I definitely will say I want to know more about what you guys are thinking with web video. It's, again, a field that's really passionate, that I'm passionate about. It's close to my heart, but it's one that I think we as an industry, not pointing fingers, have kind of missed the boat on. A lot of us are producing video, we don't know why. Again, think about for a second that, less than 4% of YouTube videos posted by a higher education institution will ever see more than 10,000 views. Less than 4%. And again, it's not about view count necessarily. Again, one viewer that's the right viewer is worth everything. But think about it, 4% of YouTube videos posted by higher institutions will get 10,000 views or more. That's it. And about half of the videos will have less than like 300 or 400. So it's important. I mean, half the higher ed videos that I saw, I did probably 50 institutions just browsing survey, had no engagement. Half the videos had no engagement. So we're clearly either producing too much video or just video that's not being strategic enough. But it's not to say that the system's broken and we need to back off. It's just to say, let's rethink what we're doing. And like anything in higher ed, let's think about the resources we're putting in, the resources we're getting out, and why we're doing it. So with that, I am Seth Odell. I'm coming to you as always from Southern New Hampshire University in beautiful Manchester, New Hampshire, the place that you want to come visit. So I can buy you dinner. And I hope you guys all do. We are going to be back next week because, well, that's what we do. It's a live weekly web show. And we'll be coming back with Ray Yunko on next Thursday, 7 p.m., talking all about social media and college student engagement. As you guys may recall, a couple weeks ago I came on and did a controversial episode about how everything's wrong with social media and higher ed. Well, Ray's going to come on and tell me, yeah, not so much, Seth. He's got a lot of cool data, a lot of cool stuff going on, and I look forward to being put a little bit back in my place in case I overstep my bounds. So we're going to have a good conversation about social media and college student recruitment coming up next week. As always, on Tuesdays, the beautiful and wonderful Ashley Hennigan brings admissions live. We will have some new Meet the Innovators interviews going up next week, a couple new guest blog posts. Again, if you guys want to blog for Higher Ed Live, why aren't you doing it? Email me, whatever you guys want to talk about. I'd love to give you a platform to do. That's the end of the show. I got to go back to work. I have a long night ahead of me doing video content and concepts. I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day, evening. I hope I catch you on Twitter. And if you don't see me online as much, again, I'm just a little bit underwater with work. Hit me up, send me a direct message, send me an email. Annoy the crap out of me, I promise. I'm trying to get back to people. I'm a little behind on emails, just underwater with work. But again, happy you guys took time off to join me because I just love having this kind of conversations. This is what higher ed is all about. It's about sharing information, not concealing it. It's about having open dialogue, conversations, growing as an industry, growing together professionally. Again, higher ed lives, professional development and digital development and professional empowerment too. Empowering you all to do what you do better, greater, smarter, faster. That's what I'm trying to do every day too. So I'm Seth Odell. This has been Higher Ed Live. Thank you for tuning in. You guys take care. I will catch you real soon.